Welcome to Tentative Title with Tim. This is a podcast about creativity, about process, about filmmaking, and about screenwriting. Welcome, everybody, back to the podcast. Once again, I hope everybody out there is doing well, wherever you are in the world. So, there was a time when you would, well, not you, well, maybe you, but I would watch something and I would just watch it over and over and over and over again. It was my favorite movie, and I would just run the tape, the VHS, if you guys remember, just until it snapped. Luckily, I didn't actually run the tape until it snapped, but sometimes I would watch a movie and I'm surprised that it stayed intact. So what am I actually talking about right now? Well, I'm talking about the rewatchability of what is being created nowadays. And to be fair, I was a lot younger, and there have been movies that my children have watched over and over and over again ad nauseum. And, some things just captivate an audience and some things don't. But I think it has to do a bit more with the type of storytelling that we're getting. And I want to relate this to the fact that are we as, consumers, as people who, have subscriptions to Netflix and Amazon and Disney Plus and all the other streaming sites, is there an expectation from the people who are making these shows and these movies that since there is going to be so much, that it doesn't have to be that good, because all they need is somebody to be excited enough to subscribe to the service, or excited enough to watch like the first 10 minutes of it so that it counts as a view. And I'm getting a sense that some of that might actually be true, that we're not actually given good stories. We're just given like enough of a taste that we will sign up for the service, and that they're relying on us being lazy enough to, end the free trial at the time that the trial is up, so that we're not locked into any kind of subscription. And that really saddens me because, like I said, as a kid, not even, heck, even in high school, there were movies that came out that when I got a copy of, I watched over and over and over and over again, because there was just something about the story or the direction or just the actors. There was something about it that captivated my imagination, and I wanted to revisit it over and over and over again. And I don't see that a lot nowadays. I mean, I guess there are a couple movies here and there where, they just become this phenomenon that you just have to watch over and over again. Either because, you need to watch it again because it was so complex that you had to go in, to the theater, or you had to watch it again because it was just, you just wanted to experience the story, and also you wanted to put the pieces together that maybe you missed the first time. Those are really interesting, parts of cinema, is to allow an audience to kind of ponder what it is you're trying to say with your film. But in terms of just pop culture, the popcorn films, the things that the movies that we're getting on the streaming services, a lot of it is not rewatchable. you know? Uh, I kind of bring this up because of the fact that I've been a Walking Dead fan for, well, a pretty, like, a long time. And every single time I watch a season of The Walking Dead, I never say to myself, wow, that was great. I want to watch that again. And this is coming from somebody who's like holding on. Like, I'm still, like, I know a lot of people dropped out, like seasons ago, but I really want to see how the story unfolds. I want to see like where it ends up. I'm interested. And the characters that are there, like I want to see them survive. I want to see them, get to the next, whatever they're trying to accomplish in whatever season. Like I want them to succeed, and so I'm showing up every single season just to see if that happens. But every single time I'm done with the season, I never think that, like, wow, that was, I want to watch this season again, because usually it's such a depressing story. There's so much drama that happens, and it's a story that you can only really experience by not looking back, but going forward until the story resolves itself. And I think it was the same thing with Game of Thrones, although I didn't follow through on watching all of Game of Thrones. But as the years have gone by, I've heard various spoilers, and of course the show is set up to make you love characters, and then they soon kill them off. I mean, that's the DNA of the show. But now that it's done, I don't hear about a lot of people talking about wanting to rewatch it, or if they're rewatching it, they're rewatching it more as an academic exercise, or to kind of see if maybe they had missed something on the first watch, that so that they can make sense of what happened in the last season. Or that they're watching it for the first time because they're like, yeah, this is I finally get a chance to see where the story goes, because I know that it has an end, and now I can commit my time to it. But even with that, like, who's to say that they're gonna rewatch it? And that in a way is not, like, even though it's interesting from a storytelling point of view, it's not great for business, because once the hype has died down about that story, like, and it's really hard to get people to want to invest in that world again. And I see that a lot. Like, I'm sure there are hardcore fans who are gonna buy the merchandise. They're gonna buy the video game, or they're gonna buy the action figure, or they're gonna they're gonna continue to put their money into the franchise, or into the into whatever is being made, that they slap the name on it for. And that the same can be said for just like Star Wars. Now, I was excited for the new trilogy, but when all was said and done, like, I didn't go to the theater to see Rise of Skywalker. I showed up for Force Awakens. I showed up for The Last Jedi, but after all was said and done with those two films, I was like, I don't feel excited about this world anymore. Like, I am interested to see where it goes and how it resolves, but there was this sense that all they wanted to do was just to tear it down, and to they basically wanted you to not watch this movie again, or to watch these movies again. And that's really sad, because I wanted to rewatch them. And in fact, they're on Disney Plus right now, and I want to rewatch them, but I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I want to spend like 2 hours watching these films when, like, I know the storytelling, like the potential of what it could have been, just the whatever politics behind the scenes or whatever, like something happened where the proper story that was supposed to be told was not told, and now I'm like, I don't care that much. Like, I will rewatch it from an academic sense. Like, I will obviously watch the original trilogy. I'll come back to the prequels, even though like I wasn't that, like, I mean, they were okay, and there were some good things in there, but I don't know, like, unless I'm planning on watching all 9 films, like I'm not gonna sit down and say, you know what, I feel like watching, one of the sequel like trilogy films. Like I feel excited about this story, because I'm not, and it's not rewatchable for me. It's I've experienced the story, and at the end I was like, I don't feel excited about this universe. Like I don't want to experience what's happening in this story, because it's like it's depressing. It brings you down. It makes you, it just doesn't, captivate my imagination. So I just wonder if like that's where we're going in terms of content creation. And I hate using the word or the phrase content creation, because it's like, yes, it's content and yes, it's being created, but it's like, growing up, it was like a film was a film. Like it was like a slice of life. It was a slice of some kind of adventure that you were going to go on. And, it ended up being more than just a movie. Like you wanted to buy the film when it came out. You wanted to buy the action figure. You wanted to buy the comic book. You wanted to buy things that were associated with the movie, if those things were available. Or simply you just wanted to keep buying different versions of the movie because it kept, like there was VHS, but then like DVD came out, and then after DVD was Blu-ray, and then, like it's like you just wanted to keep purchasing the film because you were getting a better version of it every single time. But what is coming out now that you would want to put money in over and over and over and over again? Like, is there something that's very exciting? And of course, there are the Marvel movies, and that has been, I guess, the one diamond in the rough when it comes to creating a story and characters that people can get excited about, and that people can like rally around and just really, really want to invest in that world and want to be like those characters, or want to like, go on adventures with. So that's all I got for today. I just like, as somebody who creates content, or creates movies, creates things that I hope an audience will rally around and be excited about and want to get more of. And, even, it would be great if, I created something that like, there was an action figure for, or, like there was this I can never say the word, but, all the extra stuff outside of a film, like the comic book, the novel, the action figure, all that kind of stuff, like to create like a kind of like merchandising world around, like that would be really exciting, like to have people excited about a story that I made, that they're willing to like put extra money in to like pay for these extra things, not just to invest in the movie. Like that would be amazing. Like I don't like, that would just be amazing, So, and I want that kind of world. I want that kind of creative experience, because like that's the kind of experience that I had as a kid, that like, I not only saw the movie, but like I wanted to buy the action figure. I wanted to buy the comic book. I wanted to invest in that world even more. and like, and they had it available, and I could like say, yeah, like, yes. And I can't tell you how many times I rewatched like Indiana Jones and Superman and the Star Wars original trilogy, like over and over and over and over again, because it was good storytelling. It captivated my imagination. I wanted to be a part of that world and to be on those adventures. And I don't know if there's anything like that exists now. And my kids are interested in certain things, but it involves more video games than it does like films. And maybe that's just what this next generation is going to be more excited about, is just the idea of like an interactive game experience, and not necessarily being taken on some story. Although I mean they do love some movies, but like where their focus is very much game oriented. And so maybe the whole idea of storytelling is shifting away from things that you can rewatch and more about things that you can, kind of control the narrative, control like the gameplay. I don't know. It's pretty much up in the air right now. But yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking of this past week. And I hope that we, like 10 years down the line, that there are pieces of, their films and there are TV shows that have captivated audiences that people will come back to and watch over and over and over again, because it was good writing, it was good directing, it was good acting, it was just a good story, that it's gonna stand the test of time because it was just that good, and that people will keep coming back to. Because right now it sounds like a lot of people are going back to movies in the rewatching movies from the 90s and from the 80s because they were just good, fun movies, and they didn't take themselves too seriously, and they were fun. So even though it involved like, bad guys and, bad guys and good guys, and, like it's a fictional adventure world. So have a little fun in it, obviously try to ground it in reality, but for the most part, it's like, it's fiction. It's just fiction. Anyway, guys, that's all I got for today. I'll talk to you on the next one. And also, if you want to connect with me, I have a email for the podcast. It's tentative.title.with.tim.podcast@gmail.com. Also, I have a Twitter account for the podcast where I post episodes, and that is @title_Tim. And you can find also on the Facebook page, I have a page for the podcast, so you can connect with me there. Looking forward to hearing from all of you, and until then, I'll catch you on the next one.